Hi everyone, I'm Andrew.
I'm Minna, and we're the foolish couple.
Welcome to the Foolish Couple at Home series.
So today we're gonna change things a little bit. We will tell you about how we get things started here. So some of you may know that we run businesses at home. So we both stay in the home all day long. We see each other all day long. But we're gonna tell you how we get started. So why don't you tell our audience how you get started?
I started my first business right at the second year of university. At that point, I was already working full time through university, and what I was learning in university, it just wasn't aligning with in my head what goals I want to do in life.
And what did you do as your first business?
Not knowing anything about business, I decided to go into something that I was very passionate about. And my passion was cars. In particular, fast cars like the Porsches, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis. But here I am, a poor student. I couldn't afford any of those cars. So my brainstorm idea at 21 years old was to make affordable cars as fast as these cars.
Then how did you get started?
I didn't have a lot of capital to get started, but I did have a lot of connections in modifying cars. I have been playing and modifying cars since I was 16 years old. So I started from home. I started from my townhome, well, actually, my parents' townhome, in my bedroom, which is approximately 100 square feet.
You mean your room's 100 square feet?
Yes, my room was 100 square feet, not the whole townhome.
I remember that. And it was really strange because you had exhaust mounted on the wall and you had little catalogs lying all over the place.
This is before the internet, so obviously I didn't have a website where I can showcase my products. So what I need to do to let people know what I can sell is I hung exhaust systems, wheels, suspension parts all in my bedroom, and I invited people into my house, up the stairs, into my bedroom, and that was my showroom. And from there, after they ordered the parts, I would be installing the parts in my garage.
Wasn't that a little dangerous?
Yeah, it was actually very dangerous when I was installing exhaust system because my garage has a slight slope on it, and if you guys ever worked on cars before, don't leave the cars on the jack. I was too poor at the time to afford jack stands, so I was actually caught underneath the car with the jack stands when they sort of slid down a little bit. Lucky for me back then, I was really, really skinny, so I was able to get myself from out under the car. And at that point, I decided I need to go to the next step and expand.
So what is your next step?
The next step from home base was to get a storefront. And I just thought that was the logical next step. Business was building, and I can give very cheap prices because I was doing everything myself. So the next step is I went from my bedroom to a storefront, which is right around, I believe it was what, 500 square feet?
The first one is, yeah.
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah. And then from there, I also decided that I didn't want to do the installs anymore. So I found a local garage that can do the installation work for me.
And how did that work out for you?
It started out pretty good because it gave me a little bit more time. I didn't need to do too much of the dirty work. I was still doing some work in front of the shop in the parking lot, which got us quickly in trouble because when we signed the lease, it was meant for retail only and no installations in the garage. So my neighbors were sort of complaining about me working on cars. So, but when everything was consigned to a different garage to do all the work, I wasn't making a whole lot of money on the install. It was sort of capping me a little bit on my idea of giving someone of value my services.
So what did you do?
We expanded again, and from 500 square feet, we went to a 2,000 square feet facility. From that point, it was actually quite fun. I'm originally from Canada, and from that expansion, I was starting to get a little more recognition from even people in the United States. A lot of the suppliers were eager to supply to me. So I was probably one of the first largest shops that started growing.
And then what happened?
And then I decided to invest in a very expensive piece of machinery. It's called a dyno, and for people that don't understand what it is, it's just a piece of machinery that measures the amount of horsepower you have in the car, And looking back, it probably wasn't a very good investment. It allowed me to distinguish me differently from the other shops, and because I can basically set up cars to have more horsepower than the Ferraris and Porsches while you're just owning a Civic. Remember, this is in the early 90s, so imagine your 1992 Civic beating a Porsche or a Ferrari. That was very exciting times. So at that point, we were getting really busy, and I guess I wasn't looking at it on a business standpoint. I just wanted to grow big. Everyone knew who I was. It was very exciting. I think I got too much of my ego involved, so I expanded tremendously. I went from 2,000 to 5,500 square foot facility.
So you get a lot of recognition, but are you getting the return that you're looking for?
Well, that's the thing. Nina, she was doing all the accounting. I didn't look at the numbers. Everyone just sort of knew who I was. They knew my shop. I was getting a lot of recognition. Everyone would come to me for the best price, for the best parts, for the highest horsepower car. But at the end of the day, everyone in the shop was making money, but I wasn't making any money. We expanded to the point that it was just too large and too much responsibilities.
So then you took a 180-degree turn.
Yes, we took a big turn because we decided to move down to the States. Well, in particular, my wife Minna decided to move to the States, and it was, in retrospect, it was the best decision because I was basically cornered in a business where it was more of a job to me than what my original dreams were. So I had to let the business go at a loss and move down to the States and start all over.
And was it difficult?
I would say it was difficult. I spent 10 years of my life on that shop, expanding from my bedroom to a 5,500 square foot facility. So definitely it was very difficult. But like I said, in retrospect, it was the best thing that I did. There was so much stress involved in that shop, and starting fresh was very exciting for me.
So why don't you tell the audience what we do now?
So what we do now is I started another car business when I moved down to the States, but this time I'm smart. I kept it home base. I did not expand out home base. From what I learned from those last 10 years is I didn't want to do retail either, right? So I went into manufacturing. I developed my own part, hired out engineers to design the parts, and I sell wholesale worldwide, all in the comfort of my own home.
And that's not the only thing we do. We also have real estate business. We have a nutrition business, and everything is run from home. So we stay home all day long. We run businesses, and there are certain benefits of working out of home.
The benefits of a home-based business is actually very similar to large corporations. In my head, in my ego, before back in the day, I thought you need a large facility to grow your business, to be the next big guy. I don't think that's true. I think as an entrepreneur, we're serial entrepreneurs, is we can be just as successful as the large corporations, but have the time freedom to do what we want to do. We can set our own hours. We can take days off and go on mini vacations whenever we want to without worrying about closing the shop, because obviously everything's done at home. We don't have any customers going to our home anymore. That was back in the day. Everything is done online. So we don't need to worry about customers. We meet customers sometimes, and we do coaching also.
And I gotta say that running a business at home nowadays is so much more easier than when we did it 30 years ago. Nowadays you have technology, you have the internet, you can actually have a very decent storefront in front of your customers without actually having a storefront. So technology definitely helps you that way, and that's why there's so many more people that is becoming entrepreneurs, especially those that maybe have small children or for some reason they wanted to stay home. So home-based business is becoming a growing trend.
Yes, I agree. I think for everyone that's out there working a conventional job, I'm not saying quit your job and start your own business, but I am saying follow your heart and find something that you're passionate about, something that is always been a hobby in your life, and turn that into a business. Start part-time and see where it goes from there. I think the cost benefits of having your own home-based business is well worth it, and the extra income goes a long way.
So that's it for today. Remember to comment below and follow us on Facebook so that you can join us for our Christmas contest.
Till then, dream big, love what you live, and live what you love.